The third saint I will be talking about in this video is Ilya Muromets. I will be reading from Revolvi.com. According to legends, Ilya Muromets, the son of a farmer, was born in a village near Murom. He suffered a serious illness in his youth and was unable to walk until the age of 33. He could only lie on a Russian stove until he was miraculously healed by 2 pilgrims. He was then given superhuman strength by a dying knight, Svigator, and sent out to liberate the city of Kiev from idolatry, to serve Prince Vladimir the Fair. Along the way, he single-handedly defended the city of Chernigov, modern-day Ukrainian Chernihiv, from the nomadic invasion, possibly by the Polotsi, and was offered knighthood by the local ruler, but Ilya declined to stay in the forest of Bryansk. He then killed the forest-dwelling monster Nightingale the Robber, who murdered travelers with his powerful whistle. In Kiev, Ilya was made chief bogatyr by Prince Vladimir, and he defended the Rus from numerous attacks by the steppe people, including the Kalin, the mythical Tsar of the Golden Horde. Generous and simple-minded, but also temperamental, Ilya once went on a rampage and destroyed all the church steeples in Kiev after Prince Vladimir failed to invite him to a celebration. He was soon appeased when Vladimir sent for him. In 1988, Soviet archaeologists exhumed Ilya's remains, stored in Kiev-Pechurk Lavra, and studied them. Their reports suggest that at least some parts of the legend may be true. The man was tall, his bones carried signs of a spinal disease at early age and marks from numerous wounds, one of which were fatal. Saint Ilya died with the fingers of his right hand formed to make the sign of a cross, in the position accepted even today in the Orthodox Church, the first 3 fingers together, and the 2 outermost fingers folded onto the palm, in contrast to the sign of the cross used by the old ritualists. During the struggle with the old ritual schism, this information about the saint served as a powerful proof in favor of the present positioning of the fingers. The fourth and final saint in this video is Saint Christopher. I will be reading from oca.org. Saint Christopher was a man of great stature and unusual strength. According to tradition, Saint Christopher was very handsome, but wishing to avoid temptation for himself and others, he asked the Lord to give him an unattractive face, which was done. Before baptism, he was named Reprobus, because of his disfigured appearance. Even before baptism, Reprobus confessed his faith in Christ and denounced those who persecuted Christians. Consequently, a certain Bacchus gave him a beating, which he endured with humility. Because of his renowned strength, 200 soldiers were assigned to bring him before the Emperor Decius. Reprobus submitted without resistance. Several miracles occurred along the way. A dry stick blossomed in the saint's hand, a loaf of bread was multiplied through his prayers, and the travelers had no lack thereof. This is similar to the multiplication of the loaves in the wilderness by the Saviors. The soldiers surrounding Reprobus were astonished at these miracles. They had come to believe in Christ, and they were baptized along with Reprobus by Saint Babylas of Antioch. Christopher once made vows to serve the greatest king in the world, so he first offered to serve the local king. Seeing that the king feared the devil, Christopher thought he would leave the king to serve Satan. Learning that the devil feared Christ, Christopher went in search of him. Saint Babylas of Antioch told him that he could best serve Christ by doing well the task for which he was best suited. Therefore he became a ferryman, carrying people across a river on his shoulders. One stormy night, Christopher carried a child who insisted on being taken across the river at that very moment. With every step Christopher took, the child seemed to become heavier. Halfway across the stream, Christopher felt that his strength would give out, that he and the child would be drowned in the river. As they reached the other side, the child told him that he had just carried all the sins of the world on his shoulders. Then he ordered Christopher to plant his walking stick on the ground, and as he did so, the stick grew into a giant tree. Then he recognized Christ, the King whom he had vowed to serve. St. Christopher was brought before the emperor, who tried to make him renounce Christ, not by force or by cunning, but by cunning. He summoned two profligate women, Kalinika and Aquilina, and commanded them to persuade Christopher to deny Christ and offer sacrifice to idols. Instead, the women were converted to Christ by St. Christopher. When they returned to the emperor, they declared themselves to be Christians. Therefore, they were subjugate to fierce beatings, and they received the crown of martyrdom. Decius also sentenced the execution of the soldiers that had been sent after St. Christopher, but now believed in Christ. The emperor ordered the new martyr be thrown into a red-hot metal box. St. Christopher, however, did not experience any suffering, as he remained unharmed. After many fierce torments, they finally beheaded the martyr with a sword. This occurred in the year of 250 in Lycia. By his miracles, the holy martyr Christopher converted as many as 50,000 pagans to Christ. As St. Ambrose of Milan testifies, the relics of St. Christopher were transferred to Toledo, Spain, and still later to the Abbey of St. Denis in France. In Greece, many churches place the icon of St. Christopher at the entrance so that many people can see it as they enter and leave the building. There is a rhyming couplet in Greek which says, "When you see Christopher, you can walk in safety." This reflects the belief that whoever gazes upon the icon of St. Christopher will not meet with a sudden or accidental death that day. I know it was a very long video. If you would be interested in doing coloring sheets with any of the saints described in the video, well, I have a few in the description, so check those out. And if you're really proud of your drawing and you want to show it to me, feel free to send it to my email, also in the link.